Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dansplain. I'm Edward.
And I'm Lily.
Today we're tackling a question that's, honestly, it's both ancient and cutting edge. You know, can we actually cheat death?
Yeah.
And live forever? You said it's a ton of research on human longevity, and we are going deep into the science, the breakthroughs.
Oh, yeah.
And even those big what-if questions about immortality.
It's wild to think that global life expectancy has more than doubled just since the 1950s.
Really?
From 48 years to over 70 today.
Wow.
Yeah. Better healthcare, nutrition,
yeah.
sanitation have made a huge difference, but those gains are slowing down.
So are we hitting some kind of biological limit? Is there a cap on how long humans can live?
That's what researchers are trying to figure out.
Okay.
And that's where the fascinating field of aging research comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about tacking on more years. It's about understanding why we age at a cellular level.
Okay.
And if we can slow down or even reverse that process.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's actually happening inside our bodies as we age?
Well, scientists have identified these key processes called the hallmarks of aging that kind of contribute to our decline.
Okay.
One of the big ones is telomere shortening. So imagine your DNA like shoelaces.
Okay.
And telomeres are the little plastic tips that protect the ends.
Gotcha.
Every time a cell divides, those telomeres get a bit shorter.
So it's like our cells are slowly fraying with age.
Exactly. And that fraying can lead to all sorts of problems, like cells not functioning properly, increasing the risk of things like cancer and age-related diseases.
Okay, that makes sense. So are researchers trying to find ways to, recap those shoelaces?
You got it. They're looking at ways to activate an enzyme called telomerase,
Okay.
which can actually lengthen those telomeres.
Oh, wow.
The trick is to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Enough telomerase activity to protect cells, but not so much that it increases the risk of cancer.
So it's a delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
What about those other hallmarks of aging?
Another fascinating one is cellular senescence.
Oh.
These are basically zombie cells.
Zombie cells. That sounds creepy.
Cells that have stopped dividing but don't die off like they should.
What kind of havoc are they wreaking?
They just hang around, causing inflammation and damage to surrounding tissues, contributing to age-related diseases. It's like having a bunch of burnt-out light bulbs that you never replace.
Yeah.
They're not working, but they're still using energy and creating a mess.
Yikes. So how do we get rid of these cellular zombies?
Well, researchers are developing something called senolytic drugs,
Okay.
designed to target and eliminate those senescent cells.
Senolytic drugs, zombie cell slayers.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a cure for aging here?
Not quite a cure,
Okay.
but it's a promising avenue for treating age-related diseases and potentially slowing down the aging process itself.
So telomere research, senolytic drugs. It sounds like we're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs.
Yeah.
What other medical interventions are showing promise?
One that's gotten a lot of attention is caloric restriction.
Okay.
It's been shown to extend lifespan in various organisms. Now, you don't have to starve yourself,
Right.
but even moderate calorie reduction can have a big impact.
I've heard about that. It seems kind of counterintuitive. Wouldn't eating less make you weaker?
Actually, research suggests that when you restrict calories, your body goes into a sort of survival mode,
Okay.
activating cellular repair mechanisms and boosting your defenses against aging.
So it's like tricking your body into thinking it needs to be extra resilient.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
And then there's stem cell therapy, which harnesses the body's own repair system.
Okay.
Stem cells are like blank slates.
Uh-huh.
They can differentiate into various types of cells and replace damaged tissues.
Gotcha.
Scientists are exploring ways to use stem cells to treat age-related diseases and potentially even reverse some aspects of aging.
So it's like giving your body a tune-up, replacing those worn-out parts with brand new ones.
That's a great way to put it.
Cool. But it's not just about medical interventions. Technology is playing a huge role in accelerating longevity research.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's talk tech. How are things like AI and nanobots changing the game?
Well, AI is incredible for analyzing massive data sets,
Okay.
identifying disease risks, and personalizing treatment plans. It's like having a super-powered health detective working for you 24/7.
I love that. And nanotechnology. What's the latest on those tiny robots?
Well, imagine microscopic robots called nanobots delivering drugs with pinpoint accuracy to specific cells.
Wow.
It's like having a repair crew working at the cellular level,
Right.
fixing damage and potentially reversing the effects of aging.
That's wild. It feels like we're living in a science fiction movie.
It does, doesn't it? And it's not just happening in one lab or one country.
Right.
There are global initiatives and organizations dedicated to pushing the boundaries of longevity research.
So who are the major players in this global race to longevity? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, there's the Dog Aging Project, which is studying how a drug called rapamycin affects lifespan in dogs.
Wait, dogs are helping us live longer. Does that mean I should start sharing my green smoothies with my dog?
Huh. Maybe not the green smoothies.
Okay.
But it is fascinating research, and it highlights the collaborative nature of this field.
Yeah.
Another key player is the Hevolution Foundation,
Okay.
based in Saudi Arabia.
Uh-huh.
They've committed a staggering $20 billion to fund longevity biotechnology.
Wow. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Any big names from the tech world involved?
Absolutely. Silicon Valley is all over this.
Really?
Companies like Altos Labs and Calico Labs, backed by Jeff Bezos and Google, respectively,
Wow.
are tackling aging head-on with massive resources and cutting-edge technology.
So it sounds like everyone's getting in on the action. But let's be real. With all this talk of extending lifespan, can we actually live forever? Is immortality a real possibility?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
While extending lifespan is becoming increasingly realistic, true immortality is still more in the realm of speculation.
Okay, so what about those sci-fi concepts like cryogenics and uploading our consciousness to computers? Are those even remotely feasible?
Well, cryogenics, which involves freezing bodies for future revival, is a real thing.
Yeah.
But the technology to successfully revive a frozen person doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
And the idea of digital immortality, uploading our minds to a computer, faces even bigger hurdles.
Right.
We're still far from understanding consciousness well enough to replicate it.
So for now, living forever remains a distant dream. But even extending lifespan by a significant amount raises some big questions, right?
Absolutely. If we could live longer, how would that impact society?
Yeah.
Would everyone benefit or just the wealthy? What would happen to our planet if people lived much longer? These are all ethical considerations we need to explore.
It sounds like the quest for longevity isn't just about science and technology. It's about rethinking our values and how we want to live our lives.
In part one, we unpacked the incredible progress being made in understanding why we age,
Right.
and the groundbreaking research that's pointing towards ways to potentially slow down or even reverse that process.
Yeah, we talked about telomeres, those protective caps on our DNA, and senescent cells, those pesky zombie cells that accumulate as we get older. And we touched on some promising medical interventions like caloric restriction and stem cell therapy, as well as the role that technology is playing in this field.
Yeah.
Right, like AI helping to personalize treatment plans and nanobots delivering drugs with pinpoint accuracy.
Exactly. Now, in part two, let's dig deeper into some of the more cutting-edge research that's pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
I'm all ears. What's got you excited?
Well, let's go back to those telomeres for a moment. Remember we talked about how scientists are looking for ways to lengthen them?
Yeah, it's like finding a way to recap those fraying shoelaces.
Well, one area that's showing promise is gene therapy.
Okay.
Scientists are exploring ways to deliver genes that can actually lengthen those telomeres, essentially slowing down the cellular clock.
Gene therapy. That sounds pretty futuristic. Are we talking about reprogramming our cells to age more slowly?
In a way, yes. It's still very early days.
Right.
And there are a lot of challenges to overcome, but the potential is enormous.
Wow. So we could actually be rewriting our genetic code to live longer.
It's a possibility, but it's not the only approach. Remember those zombie cells we talked about, the senescent cells? Well, clinical trials on those senolytic drugs are showing some very promising results.
Those zombie cell slayers. What kind of progress are we seeing?
Researchers are testing these drugs on a variety of age-related diseases from osteoarthritis to Alzheimer's.
So we might be able to clear out those troublemaking cells and actually treat or even prevent some of these diseases.
That's the hope. And what's really exciting is that senolytics target those underlying aging processes that contribute to so many different conditions. It's like tackling the root of the problem rather than just treating the symptoms.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It seems like a lot of this research is about understanding those fundamental processes of aging,
Right.
and then finding ways to intervene.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about adding years to life. It's about adding life to years.
I love that. Quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of adding life, I've heard whispers about something called parabiosis.
Oh, yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Parabiosis is a fascinating area of research, but it's definitely one of the more out-there approaches. It involves connecting the circulatory systems of two animals, typically young and old.
Hold on, they're sharing blood. Is that even safe?
It's a very controlled procedure done in a laboratory setting.
Okay.
And obviously we can't go around connecting people's circulatory systems.
That would be a bit messy, to say the least.
Yeah.
But what are scientists hoping to learn from this?
Well, what they've found is that the older animal experiences a rejuvenation effect, while the younger animal shows signs of accelerated aging.
So it's like the younger blood is somehow revitalizing the older animal. That's wild.
It is. And this research has led to the identification of specific molecules in the blood that seem to be responsible for these age-related changes.
So they're trying to isolate the youthful components of blood and potentially turn them into therapies.
Right.
It's like bottling the fountain of youth.
In a way, yes. But while these high-tech interventions are exciting, let's not forget about the role of lifestyle in all of this.
Yeah.
There are things we can do right now to improve our chances of living longer, healthier lives.
Okay, give us the lowdown. What can we do today to boost our longevity?
It might sound cliche, but things like diet, exercise, and sleep play a huge role in how we age.
Okay.
A balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains provides our bodies with the nutrients they need to function optimally.
Yeah.
Regular exercise, even moderate activity, helps maintain muscle mass, improves cardiovascular health, and reduces the risk of chronic diseases.
Okay.
And getting enough sleep is crucial for cell regeneration and overall well-being.
So no magic bullet, just good old-fashioned healthy habits.
Exactly. Those healthy habits can make a world of difference.
What about stress? I feel like that takes a toll on my body.
You're right. Stress management is crucial, too.
Yeah.
Chronic stress can accelerate the aging process.
Okay.
Finding healthy ways to manage stress, like mindfulness yoga or spending time in nature, can have a positive impact on our lifespan.
It sounds like we need to take a holistic approach to aging, addressing both the biological and lifestyle factors.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of social connections.
Yeah.
Strong social bonds and a sense of purpose have been linked to longevity and overall well-being. So nurture those relationships, engage in activities that bring you joy, and stay connected to your community.
It seems like living longer isn't just about extending our lifespan, but about living a life filled with meaning and connection.
Exactly. And this research is constantly evolving. What we know about aging today is just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what breakthroughs await us in the coming years?
That's what makes this topic so captivating. It's a journey of discovery. But before we get too carried away with the future, let's take a step back and consider the broader implications of all this.
Okay.
If we do manage to significantly extend human lifespan, how will that impact society as a whole?
That's a huge question, and one that we need to start thinking about now.
Yeah.
For example, if people are living longer, will they need to work longer?
Right.
How will that affect retirement systems and the economy?
And what about healthcare? Will we have the resources to provide quality care for a much larger elderly population?
Those are all valid concerns, and then there are the social implications.
Right.
How will our relationships change if we're living for 100 years or more?
It's mind-boggling to think about. And what about the dynamics between younger and older generations?
Right.
Would there be more competition for resources and opportunities?
That's certainly a possibility. We might see a shift in power dynamics with older generations holding on to positions of authority for much longer.
It's like everything we know about society and human interaction would be turned upside down.
In a way, yes. But it's also an opportunity to create a more inclusive and equitable society, one where age is no longer a barrier to participation and contribution.
I love that perspective. It's not just about living longer. It's about creating a better world for everyone, regardless of age.
Exactly. And that brings us back to those ethical considerations we've been discussing throughout this deep dive.
Right.
We can't just focus on the science and the potential benefits.
Yeah.
We need to grapple with the moral and societal implications of extending human lifespan.
Right. We need to ensure that these advancements benefit all of humanity, not just a privileged few.
Yeah.
We need to address the potential challenges of overpopulation and resource scarcity.
And
we need to create a future where everyone has the opportunity to live a long, healthy, and meaningful life.
It's a tall order, but I believe it's a worthy pursuit.
I agree. And it's a journey we need to embark on together.
Speaking of journeys, it looks like we've reached the end of part 2 of our deep dive into human longevity. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve into the philosophical implications of living longer and explore what it truly means to live a life filled with purpose and meaning.
And don't forget to visit our website, www.dansplain.xyz, for more deep dives into fascinating topics, the latest breakthroughs, and even some philosophical musings.
You'll find new episodes, articles, products, and a whole lot more. Welcome back, Dansplain. We're in the final stretch of our deep dive into human longevity.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? We've gone from the cellular level of aging to the global implications of extending human lifespan.
Right. We've talked about the incredible science in the promising technologies and the ethical dilemmas that come with the potential to live much longer lives.
And now in this final part, I want to shift gears a bit.
Okay.
And explore the philosophical side of this whole thing.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What do you mean by the philosophical side?
Well, if we could significantly extend our lives, how would that change our perspective on life itself?
Yeah.
What would it mean to live for 100 years, 200 years, or even longer?
That's a great question. Would we become more cautious, more risk-averse, knowing we have more to lose?
Maybe. Or perhaps it would have the opposite effect.
Right.
Maybe we'd be more willing to take chances knowing we have more time to recover from setbacks.
It's fascinating to consider all the possibilities. Do you think we'd value time differently? Would we be more patient, less impulsive?
It's possible. And what about our goals and ambitions? Would we pursue them with the same urgency if we had decades or even centuries to achieve them? It's like we need to redefine the concept of a lifetime achievement.
Exactly. And what about the meaning of life itself?
Right.
Would we search for meaning in different ways if our lifespans were significantly extended?
Yeah.
Would our priorities shift?
These are big questions, and I don't think there are any easy answers.
You're right. But that's what makes this so fascinating.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront our own assumptions about life, death, and everything in between.
And it's not just about individual perspectives. How would longer lifespans impact our relationships? How would families and communities function if generations were living side by side for much longer periods?
That's a huge area to consider. Would marriages last for centuries? Would families span generations upon generations? How would we maintain close relationships over such extended periods?
It's mind-boggling to think about. And what about the dynamics between younger and older generations?
Right.
Would there be more competition for resources and opportunities?
That's a possibility. We might see a shift in power dynamics with older generations holding on to positions of authority for much longer. But it could also lead to greater collaboration and mentorship between generations.
It's like everything we know about society and human interaction would be up for renegotiation.
In a way, yes, but it's also an opportunity.
Right.
An opportunity to create a more inclusive and equitable society.
Yeah.
One where age is no longer a barrier to participation and contribution.
I love that perspective. It's not just about living longer. It's about creating a better world for everyone, regardless of their age.
Exactly. It's about reimagining what it means to live a long and fulfilling life. And it's about recognizing that aging isn't just a biological process.
Right.
It's a social and cultural one as well.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the science of aging to the ethics and philosophy of extended lifespans.
Yeah.
It's clear that this topic raises more questions than answers.
But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It sparks our curiosity, challenges our assumptions, and invites us to imagine a future that's full of possibilities.
It's been an incredible journey, and I hope our listeners are feeling just as inspired and intrigued as we are.
And remember, the quest for longevity isn't just about extending our lifespan.
Right.
It's about living a life filled with purpose, meaning, and connection.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of human longevity. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep living your best life.